is like empathy mapping. So empathize, we know this is going to be the first phase when it comes to UX design. Like you first need to understand the perspective of what the user wants, what is the need of the user, and only when we understand the needs of the user, we'll be able to come up with a design like solution. We can brainstorm the different ideas whatever the user is expecting. So if the user is able to see what he needs, then he will eventually start using the application, and he'll be able to make the choices whatever he wishes. So now let's understand what does empathy mean. So it is putting yourself, as a designer, you are putting yourself in the shoes of user, and then thinking from the user's, uh, the user's view. So design is not just what it looks like and feels like. Design is how it works. This is the quote given by Steve Jobs. So what it means, uh, it's not just about the aesthetics, it's not just about the pretty screens, but it is about how well the functionality is, how well it is working. That is design when it comes to UX design. Okay, so we want to simplify the experience for the users. So in this, as a designer, this is going to be the first stage in the design thinking process. So as I mentioned earlier itself, this entire journey, or your case study or your project, whatever you are choosing, that is going to be an entire UX UI uh, uh, design process. So in that process, the first stage is empathize. So in this stage, we will try to do some research. What kind of research it could be? Like we are interviewing the users in order to understand their needs, and what are their thought processes, how they want the app to be, what are their needs they want to do in the application. So they so we as a designer need to keep aside all the assumptions, biases. We should not think this is what the user is going to look for, and then we should not start deciding. We should not start designing just with the assumptions, but it needs to be real users data. So we need to observe the world, like we need to see what each user wants. Like there could be testing, like in user testing, we are testing our app with the user, or just we are trying to make the user use the app which is already existing. So in that way we are trying to understand what are the struggles faced by the user. So these are some ways how we are trying to understand the users. Okay. So in this way, what are the things that we can understand from the user? அவங்களுக்கு என்னென்ன motivation இருக்கு, and what are their problems whichever they are facing in the application. லைக் எப்படி அவங்களோட எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் இன்னும் ஸ்மூத்தாக ஆகணும், இன்கேஸ் தே ஆர் ஃபேஸிங் எனி சேலஞ்சஸ் இன் யூஸிங் தட் அப்ளிகேஷன். லைக் அது வந்து ரொம்ப லென்த்தியான ப்ராசஸாக இருக்குது. என்ன ப்ராசஸ்? லைக் இப்போ அமேசானில் போயிட்டு வி ஆர் பையிங் அ ப்ராடக்ட். ஸோ இஃப் யூ வாண்ட் டு பை தட் ப்ராடக்ட், தெர் இஸ் அ லாட் ஆஃப் ஸ்டெப்ஸ் இன்வால்வ்டு. அந்த மாதிரி நிறைய ஸ்டெப்ஸ் இருந்துச்சுன்னா இட் மைட் பி அ காம்ப்ளெக்ஸ் ப்ராசஸ் ஃபார் த யூசர் டு டைஜஸ்ட். ஸோ அதனால் ஹீல் ஈவென்ச்சுவலி ஸ்விட்ச் டு அனதர் அப்ளிகேஷன் லைக் ஃப்ளிப்கார்ட். அந்த மாதிரி ஸ்விட்ச் ஆகாமல் யூசரை ரீட்டைன் பண்ணணும் ஆப்லேயே அப்படின்னா, அந்த மாதிரி டைமில் வீல் ஹேவ் டு சிம்பிளிஃபை த ப்ராசஸ். தட் சிம்பிளிஃபிகேஷன் இஸ் நோன் ஆஸ் மேக்கிங் த ஆப் பெட்டர். லைக் இன்னும் சிம்பிளிஃபைடான யூசரோட எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸை நம்ம கொண்டு வரணும் ஆஸ் அ டிசைனர். ஸோ தட் இஸ் வாட் வி ஆர் ட்ரைங் டு அச்சீவ் இன் UX design. Empathize is the first stage in design thinking process. So we need to empathize, and that is a part of research. So we should not we should constantly remind ourselves to question everything whatever we are observing, instead of just coming to a conclusion that this is going to be this. அது மாதிரி கிடையாது. We should be open minded, and then we should observe, listen to their point of view. Why are they saying that this is frustrating for them? ஏன் இந்த மாதிரி ப்ராசஸ் வந்து அவங்க ரொம்ப லென்த்தியாக ஃபீல் பண்ணுறாங்க. இன்ஸ்டெட் ஆஃப் ஜஸ்ட் கோயிங் வித் பயாஸ்டு வியூ லைக் அசம்ஷனில் போகாமல் we are trying to understand from the perspective of the users. Okay, so uh, we need to catch this, and we should understand the situations. So user feelings like what are their motivations in using this application, or what are their pain points when they are using this application. So if it's pain point like அது வந்து ஒரு காம்ப்ளெக்ஸான ப்ராசஸ்னு அவங்க நினைக்கிறாங்க அப்படின்னா we should try to make it simple so that it will help the users to understand how this app works quickly. So there will be a lot of users. So இதோட main objective என்ன, we need to increase the users, only then the business will be in profit. As a designer we should bring revenue to the company, same like what a marketer does. So we should work to delight the users. Only if the users come, there will be an increase in the revenue for the business. So that is going to be our objective. So in empathy we are having different things like one is seeing their world, understanding their feelings. Who there means yaru there na, we are trying to understand the user's feelings, we are trying to see from the perspective of the user, and then we are appreciating them as human, and we are also trying to communicate the understanding. ஸோ ஏன் யூஸர் இந்த மாதிரி ஃபீல் பண்ணுறாங்க அப்படிங்கிறது we should be able to understand. We should think on those lines. So how to empathize to get the right insights. எப்படி நம்ம வந்து யூஸரை எம்பத்தைஸ் பண்ண முடியும், யூஸரோட வியூவிலேருந்து யோசிக்க முடியும். only when we observe the real users we'll be able to ask the questions, correct questions, in order to understand their motivation. So what kind of questions we'll be asking? So when they are using the application, it's an existing application, okay, so அதை வந்து யூஸ் பண்ணுறாங்க அப்படிங்கும் போது we need to see how is their reaction while they are making use of an application in order to achieve a particular task. பர்டிகுலர் டாஸ்க்னால் என்ன, ஏதாவது ஒரு ப்ராடக்ட்டை பர்ச்சேஸ் பண்ணணும், அது வந்து ஒரு டாஸ்க்கு. ஸோ வென் தே ஆர் டூயிங் தட் பர்டிகுலர் ப்ராசஸ், வாட் கைண்ட் ஆஃப் reactions are they giving? Are they feeling frustrating, or we are also asking them to say explicitly like what is their feeling. ஸோ அவங்க யூஸ் பண்ணும் போதே வந்து எந்த மாதிரி அவங்களோட ஃபீலிங் இருக்குது அப்படிங்கிறது மைண்டில் யோசிக்கிறது சொல்லிகிட்டே பண்ணணும். அப்போனா we as a designer can have an idea of what kind of feeling they are having. Okay, so we need to observe the real users, and then we need to ask the correct questions to them. So instead of just guessing இந்த மாதிரி தான் they'll be feeling அப்படிங்கிறத விட, if we are asking them directly, then we can get a better understanding. And then conducting photo and video based studies, like so we as a team of designers can conduct a interview with the users, so that we know we can understand the real problem which the user is facing. And also we can ask the users to record their own experiences, like what is the problem which they are facing in the application and the timeline. We can ask them to capture a video. So these are just optionals, we need not do all of these, but just for an understanding I'm explaining them. So and then comes interviewing users. So this is the most important thing that we'll have to do with the users. So நம்ம வந்து as a team, இப்போ டிசைனர் ஒரு ப்ராஜெக்டில் வந்து 2 டிசைனர் இருக்காங்க அப்படின்னா we'll have to brainstorm what questions we need to ask the user. நேச்சுரலாக இருக்கணும், and then it should have a structured flow. ஸோ அந்த ஆப்பை பற்றி we have an idea. So we are having the problem statement. அது வந்து first நம்ம problem statement client கொடுத்துருவாங்க, or we are picking a problem statement. After that, what is happening? We need to ask the correct questions to the users. So for that, what we'll have to do, if you are in a design agency or if you are working in a company, what you have to do is that you need to write down all the questions whichever you need to ask the client or the user. That is called as questionnaire. It can be a discovery document which they will usually say in the corporates. Discovery document na enna, what questions we are going to ask to the user in order to understand the user's perspective. இன்னும் நல்லா புரிஞ்சுக்கிறதுக்காக we will be documenting each and every question. Okay, so these questions we can even do it in two forms. Like we can ask the questions to the users directly, or we can just circulate a Google form. With that, we can include all these questions. So in this, the users வந்து எல்லா ஆன்சர்ஸும் எழுதி நமக்கு சப்மிட் பண்ணிடுவாங்கல்ல. ஸோ we'll have those insights which the அந்த இன்சைட்டை வச்சு தான் we'll be proceeding with the wireframe. அதுக்கப்புறமா இருக்க ப்ராசஸ்லாம் இருக்குல்ல, இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் ஆர்கிடெக்சர், யூசர் ஃப்ளோ, இதெல்லாம் வந்து only with the data that we are receiving from the users, அதை வச்சு தான் ப்ரொசீட் பண்ணி போக போகிறோம். ஓகே, எனி டவுட் so far?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So engaging with extreme users, you find the extreme cases within your user base to determine the greatest degree of. So there could be some ways where we can see all the user needs, problems, and also problem solving methods. But if we want to satisfy an extreme user, so we need to consider the edge cases as well. Like there could be some users who want the most of the application, like he wants the utmost of the application. So we need to design for that particular user. Only then we'll be able to satisfy all the users. And then there are other ways also, like these are just the things that we need to understand, but it is not required in the company, like in real world experience. And then what comes, empathy maps and customer journey map. So we need to have at least one of these in order to understand from the perspective of user. So we'll have to create those journey map, like how the user's journey will be. Yesterday I was saying, right, from the awareness stage there will be consideration stage, and then there will come the other stages where the user will make a decision in order to do some action. So that is what empathy mapping means. What is the exact journey of the user while starting to use this application, and then while using this application. After that comes personas. So personas are going to be the profiles of the users. So who will be interacting with, like யார் வந்து நம்மளோட ப்ராடக்டை யூஸ் பண்ண போகிறாங்க, டார்கெட் ஆடியன்ஸ். ஸோ தே ஆர் கோயிங் டு பி த பர்சோனாஸ். After that comes empathize to get right insights. So we need to take those insights, we need to collect those data from the users, and then we'll use that data in order to come up with the solutions and other things which will actually help the real people solve the real problems, because we got the data from the real people only, right? So it will actually help them. So they will also start using our applications because they will find it more relevant to their needs. அவங்களோட நீட்ஸ்க்கு அது தேவை இருந்துச்சுன்னா தான் அது யூஸே பண்ணுவாங்க. ஓகே, ஸோ ஃபார் தட் பர்பஸ் we are trying to bring in that kind of real experience for the users. Real people கிட்ட data collect பண்ணாதான் we will be able to design such a app. What is an empathy map? So empathy map is going to be a collaborative visualization like it's going to be a visualization of what will be the journey of the user, like understanding the user needs, and then how we are supporting them to make a decision. விஷுவலைசேஷன்னா என்ன, அந்த யூஸரோட ஜேர்னி எப்படி இருக்க போகுதுங்கிறது we are just thinking, we are just imagining. Okay, imagining a particular type of user. So target audience வந்து நம்ம ஆப்புக்கு யாராக இருப்பாங்க அப்படிங்கிறது we'll have to figure out. Only when we figure out the target audience we'll be able to create the empathy map. Okay, ஸோ டார்கெட் ஆடியன்ஸ் யாராக இருக்கலாம், இப்போ வந்து if it's a Myntra kind of application, Zudio, let's take Zudio, it is an in-store application, they don't have any mobile, sorry, it is an in-store shop, they don't have any mobile application. So in that case அதில் வந்து யார் டார்கெட் ஆடியன்ஸாக இருக்காங்க, who will buy the products of Zudio?
Teenagers.
Yes, Gen Zs will usually buy the products of Zudio because it is targeted for them. So you understand how the business is getting related with it. Like அவங்களுக்காக தான் அதுவே அப்படின்னா they are just targeting only this segment. அதே மாதிரி when it comes to UX design, we are focusing ஒரு ஆப்பில் வந்து we are focusing a particular set of டார்கெட் ஆடியன்ஸ். ஸோ இப்போ ஜோடியோவில் வந்து மொபைல் ஆப் அவங்க ரிலீஸ் பண்ணணும்னு நினச்சாலுமே they are going to target only Gen Zs who are இப்போ currently they are in tier 2, 3 cities. ஸோ மெட்ரோ இல்லாத சிட்டிஸில் they are just targeting, so they don't have mobile application. So if they are trying to come up with an e-commerce platform, then they'll have to target Gen Zs only. So aduketa madri design what can be the competitor for that. There could be Agio, Limeroad. So these are going to be the competitors, popular e-commerce shopping fashion platforms, right? So இதில் டார்கெட் ஆடியன்ஸ் யாருங்கிறது நம்ம பார்த்துட்டோம். ஏஜ் ஃப்ரம் teen to 20, right? So these people, so aduketa madri they'll fix the pricing as well, low budget because they'll be just students and freshers, right? They can't afford a lot. So அதே மாதிரி we are trying to understand the user needs. அவங்க எவ்வளோ அஃபோர்ட் பண்ணுவாங்க, என்ன ஏஜ் கேட்டகரியில் இருப்பாங்க, from which cities are they belonging to. So we are trying to understand how the user is, the behavior of the user, the cultural background of the user, geographical location of the user, and what is the user need. You get an understanding, right? So this is going to be the format of empathy map. So ஒரு யூசர் வந்து ஆப் யூஸ் பண்ணி பார்க்கும்போது என்ன சொல்கிறாங்க, what they are saying, and what are they thinking in their minds, and what are they feeling while they are using this particular application, what they are doing in that particular application. Say this one is first one, these are the 4 quadrants which comprise the empathy map. In this the first quadrant says, so the user is saying something out in the interview, like you are conducting a user interview with the user in order to understand more about the user. So in that case we'll have to try to understand what the user is saying. Like it could be a direct quote from the research work that we have done, or it could be something the user says while they are trying to use our application. Okay, so I want something reliable. Maybe they think that the app doesn't give much, they are not able to trust the app. Okay, so in that case they may say I want something reliable, or they could also say I don't understand what to do from here. So they are feeling lost, like they don't have the navigation to go from one screen to another. In that case they may say I don't understand what to do from here. Thinks, this is the second quadrant. So in this what we are going to do is we are going to think from the what the user is going to think when they are using this application. How is their experience? So what is in the minds of the users when they are using this application? So are they there could be some similarities between says and things, like whatever the user is saying, that could be in their thoughts as well, right? So we'll have to try to understand better about that. Maybe something like their facial expression. With that we'll be able to find out like what is the actual thought of the user. Maybe they could say this is really making them frustrated, or am I dumb for not understanding this? Maybe that is so simple for which they have given so much of explanation. So in that case it could make the user feel like irritating. And then the dusk quadrant. So here this quadrant, whatever action which the user is taking, like the research to physically what the user is doing. mm, Maybe in the app they are navigating back and forth, or they are refreshing the page several times. What action is the user taking? Maybe why they are refreshing the page so many times, because they want something they want the loading speed is low. Maybe that could be the reason. Or they are trying to compare the prices between two different apps. So what action is the user making while he is using your application? That is what does quadrant mean. And feels quadrant, this is going to be the emotional state. It is represented as an adjective plus a short sentence for the context. So what is the user worried about? What does the user get excited about? So what is user actually feeling when they have completed a task, like they have completed a transaction and it displays the success message? Usually the user will feel happy because he has completed the task which he actually was looking forward to do. So if he is confused, then there could be too many contradictory prices. Like he wants to compare the prices and the same product is repeated. Okay, இப்போ வந்து மிந்த்ரா எடுத்துக்கலாம், அதுலேயே வந்து ஒரே ப்ராடக்ட் கார்டு அந்த ட்ரெஸ் வாங்குகிறோம் அப்படின்னா the same card is repeated again with a different price. அந்த மாதிரி இருந்துச்சுன்னா it will confuse the user, right? So that is what the user is feeling. அந்த மாதிரி it creates a bad experience. So we should not do that kind of design. And the user might be worried if they are doing something wrong because there is no action showing in the app. நம்ம என்ன ப்ரோக்ரெஸ் பண்ணுறோமோ அந்த ப்ரோக்ரெஸ் நம்ம பண்ணியிருக்கோம், என்ன பண்ணியிருக்கோம், என்ன இருக்குது அப்படிங்கிறத காட்டணும். லைக் வி ஹவ் கம்ப்ளீட்டட், லைக் ஒரு சைன்அப் பண்ணுறோம் ஆப்பில், லாகின் பண்ணுறோன்னா இமெயில் ஐடி என்ட்ரு பண்ணிவிட்டு பாஸ்வேர்டு என்ட்ரு பண்ணால் அந்த இமெயில் ஐடி என்ட்ரு பண்ணிட்டோங்கிறத ஃபில்டு ஸ்டேட்டில் காட்டணும். அது எதுவுமே நம்ம டைப் பண்ணது அதில் காட்டாமல் இருந்துச்சுன்னா தென் தே மைட் பி வரிட் தட் தே ஆர் டூயிங் சம்திங் ராங். After completion it should show that you are submitting a form. Okay, and this form வந்து submit ஆனோன்னா it is submitted, we should show a display message. So if you are not showing, then the user might be worried that they are doing something wrong. So what is happening across all the quadrants? So our users are complex humans, so it is natural to see juxtaposition between quadrants. So each one is interlinked to each other. So you understand that, right? So we should focus on all the quadrants. There could be positive actions as well as negative quotes. like what the user is doing, the action might be positive, but what he is saying might be negative. So we need to try to understand all the quadrants. Only then we can get a clear view about the understanding of the user. So it is our job as a UX designer to uh, just try to research about the user and then try to resolve the conflict whatever the user is facing. Sometimes it may be difficult to distinguish between, like it could be difficult to find out the differences between things and fields because both could be the same. அவங்க என்ன நினைக்கிறாங்களோ and ஃபீல் பண்ணுறாங்களோ ரெண்டுமே இட் குட் ஜஸ்ட் பி சிமிலர். ஸோ ரொம்ப ப்ரிசைஸாக ரொம்ப எக்ஸாக்டாக இருக்கணுங்கிறது இட் இஸ் நாட் அ மேண்டேட்ரி திங் டு டூ. Whatever fits, we can take it. Empathy maps can be for one user or multiple users, it's up to us, but usually we'll be focusing on one user only. Like target audience la irundha we'll be picking that user and then we'll do the empathy map. I told you, right, it could be the Gen Z's la in the edathila irukanga, and then we'll have a short bio of them and what are their motivations, frustrations, அந்த மாதிரி we'll have to write it down. So sometimes there could be a way that we need to do multiple users empathy map. Even that is possible for some of the user interviews. Like multiple users இருப்பாங்க. இப்போ வந்து ஸ்விக்கி எடுத்துக்கிட்டால் ஸ்விக்கி டெலிவரி பார்ட்னருக்கு தனியாக ஒரு ஆப் இருக்கும், ஸ்விக்கி கஸ்டமர்ஸ்க்கு ஒரு ஆப் இருக்கும். அந்த மாதிரி ஊபர் எடுத்துக்கிட்டால் ஊபர் டிரைவர்ஸ்க்கு தனியாக ஒரு ஆப் இருக்கும் and ஊபர் customers will have a separate app. For that we need to use multiple users empathy map. So these are just the additionals. I'll share you the presentation for your reference. So why are we going to use the empathy map? We'll be using the empathy map in order to prioritize the user needs. So we'll first try to understand the user needs, என்னெல்லாம் அவங்க தேவைப்படுதுங்கிறது we'll first understand, and then we'll just give more importance to what the user is looking forward. So empathy maps are going to be the best if it's used from the beginning of the design process. So startingly we'll have to make use of the empathy map. So we have to also capture who are going to be our users. Are they going to be mid-age or they are going to be the teenage? Like Snapchat users yaar most irpanga, they'll be like young adults. So அந்த மாதிரி we'll have to look for the company, like the project நம்ம எடுத்த உடனே யார் இதுக்கு டார்கெட் ஆடியன்ஸாக இருக்க போகிறாங்க, நம்ம யாருக்காக டிசைன் பண்ணுறோம், அவங்களோட நீட்ஸ் என்ன, வாட் ஆர் தேர் மோட்டிவேஷன்ஸ், வாட் ஆர் தேர் ஃப்ரஸ்ட்ரேஷன்ஸ், we'll have to figure out. That is the most important task whenever you pick a problem statement. That is going to be the first foremost step you will be doing. And then we can categorize and make sense of qualitative research. Like qualitative na enna, we'll be doing the research with the user in person. It could be in person or it could be Google Meet. So நம்ம வந்து elaborated answers எதிர்பார்ப்போம் from the users. So we'll have to ask the question and then we'll have to expect the elaborated answer from the user, in which we'll be taking the research notes and survey answers, user interview transcripts. So this we can take from Google Meet or Zoom call. And then there is another research as well, that is quantitative, which we'll be seeing later. So qualitative, now you understand it, right? So there are different types of researches that we have to do, and then we'll have to find out which research we want to do to understand about the users. So if you have any questions, you can ask me. After doing the research, we'll have to create the persona. Like நம்ம வந்து எல்லா டேட்டாவும் we are getting from the user. After that, we are collecting the data and then creating one persona. Persona is going to be the fictional character, as I mentioned earlier. So in that persona, we are going to include all the necessary information of the user, like their needs, their goals, their motivations and pain points. So this is how it is going to be when it is filled. You can use Miro or FigJam to create something like this. Figma then primary we are going to use the tool, and FigJam irukku. In that you can create something like this. This is a persona for the theme buying a TV. So if the user wants to buy a TV, what the user might say, I was expecting something different. If they find it totally different and they don't know what brand it is, they may say, I was expecting something different. What brand do you like? Where should I start? What size is best? So these things they may be saying, and they may be checking the website for whether this brand is good, or they want to do more research on the TV, and they might list down all the positives and negatives. They may compare the products, and they may even ask to their friends whether this TV is good or not. So empathy map is going to be a quick, digestible way to illustrate user attitudes and behaviors. So whatever uh, the user is behaving, or whatever the user is saying, that needs to be documented within that project. So once we are creating, we know what are the assumptions, or this is the real data from the user. So we need to collect the real data from the users directly. Only then we can create them. Like we can just document them and then make it as a insight which we can use forward in the design process. The next one is how to build an empathy map. So in order to create an empathy map, first we need to define the scope and goals. Like what user or persona will you map? So we should know the target audience, and in that we'll pick one user. So one user means it is going to be one empathy map. If there are multiple personas, like the example I gave, then there could be multiple personas, and then we'll be defining the primary purpose for empathy mapping. Like why are we doing empathy mapping? To understand the users more. So is it really required for our project? Then we'll be proceeding forward. So what is the scope and how much time are we going to spend for each user? Based on that, we will be proceeding forward with the interview with the user. So in order to conduct the empathy map, what we need to do is that we need to gather the team. Team means the other designers, and have a whiteboard, or it could even be sticky notes and FigJam. Okay, and we should also have the markers, so that it will be like this. Like we can just have think and feel எல்லாமே இது மட்டும் எழுதிக்கணும். Think and feel, there could be think தனியாக think இருக்கும், feel தனியாக இருக்கும். Or if we want, we can even do like this. Think and feel ஒரு quadrantல, here இன்னொரு quadrantல, see say and do. ஸோ இதுக்கு முன்னாடி பார்த்த எம்பத்தி மேப்பில் வந்து ஈச் ஒன் வாஸ் செப்பரேட் பிகாஸ் திங்க் அண்ட் ஃபீல் ஆர் கோயிங் டு பி ஆல்மோஸ்ட் தி சேம் ரைட். ஸோ அதனால் அது ஒரே குவாட்ரண்ட்டில் வச்சுருக்காங்க. வாட் எவர் வி விஷ் வி கேன் டூ. பெயின்ஸ் அண்ட் கெயின்ஸ் வை தே ஹவ் கெப்ட் இட் இயர் மீன்ஸ் யூசர் பர்சோனா போடாமல் இதுலேயே அந்த பர்சோனாவும் கவர் பண்ணுறதுக்காக they have added both the pain points like frustrations which the user is facing and what the user is feeling good about that. ரெண்டுமே இதிலே இன்க்ளூட் பண்ணிட்டாங்க. After that, once we are done with the template that we are doing, we are going to collect the research from the user. So it could be like user interview vachu namma we can get the data from the users based on each quadrant avanga enna nenikiranga appadingiradella we can do, or these are the other methods where we can collect the information from the users. ஸோ we are going to generate the sticky notes for each quadrant. அப்போ அந்த சேலை வந்து வாட் த யூஸர் இஸ் சேயிங் while they are using that application அதெல்லாம் will be just bringing down the sticky notes and then pasting it. In that we'll have all the information in say யூஸர் வந்து அது ஆப் யூஸ் பண்ணி பார்க்கும்போது என்னெல்லாம் சொல்கிறாங்கங்கிறத we'll just write down, or we can just make the user to stick down. So in that way, how many ever empathy map we need, we can ask each user to do. அதுக்கப்புறமா once everything is done, we'll be just looking for others validation, like மற்றவங்க வாட் தே ஆர் திங்கிங் அபவுட் திஸ் பர்டிகுலர் எம்பத்தி மேப் அப்படிங்கிறது we'll have to do that assignment, like we'll have to discuss together and then complete that. So with the team only we'll be able to come up with the entire empathy map is what it is mentioned here. But being a solo UX UI designer, you'll have to gather the data from the users and then you can make the user itself work on the empathy map. நீங்கள் ஃபஸ்ட்டு வந்து அந்த குவாட்ரண்ட்டை மட்டும் ஃபில் பண்ணிவிட்டு you give it to the user. He'll be pasting the sticky notes or just write down the points whatever he feels, says, does. Okay, or you observe how the user is reacting to the entire application, observe it and then you note it down, then synthesize, like you just categorize to each categories whichever it belongs to. So empathy maps are built generally to understand the users. So that is going to be the major purpose of empathy map. So when it can be combined with other mapping methods as well. So we can remove the assumptions from our designs and we can align the team on a single shared understanding of the user. So ஒரு யூஸரை வச்சு we are going to design for the target audience. அந்த target audienceல அந்த ஒரு யூஸர் தான் ரெப்ரசன்டே பண்ண போகிறாங்க. And we can also discover the weakness in our research, like where we are going wrong, or we want to understand what. Okay, so we want to understand what is the behavior of the user and how we are going to create something that the users will like. So you guys can take this as an assignment, but before that I'll have to give you the problem statement. But just as a mini task, okay, so I'll share you the problem statement. I'll share you the assignment in WhatsApp. You have any doubt in empathy map so far?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So I'll share the problem statement, and you'll have to create the empathy map. And you have 2 days time, right? Tomorrow, weekend is off, so you can present it on Monday, and you can explain why you have picked that problem statement and how we have come up with the empathy map. Okay.
Hmm.
I'll share the task in WhatsApp, so you can start working on that. And while you are working itself, if you have some doubt or need some clarification, you can please feel free to ask anytime in the group, or even individually you can message me. There is no issue. Um, looking forward to your first case study. Hope you guys can start working on that. I'll share the problem statement. In that, whatever interests you, you can pick. There is no restriction, and even if you want to pick your own problem statement, or you want to redesign something in your own, even that is fine. So that is your choice. I'll just share some samples. You can pick from that, or you can do it on your own, but you just say me what you have picked. That is important. Only then I'll be able to keep a track of it, and I can guide you. If you guys have any doubt, you can ask me, else we'll see on Monday.
No doubt, ma'am.
Okay, and thank you.
Thank you.